Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's television, radio, and podcast talk show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 2 p.m. on the Eastern time zones. I get right home with you in the afternoon. Let's go ahead and dive in because we just don't have enough time to talk. Victoria Lee Scott is with me right now. And so you had a segment a few days ago, so I wanted to tape another one with you. So let's talk about the midterm elections and your thoughts.
Okay. So I have had a few people on and reached out to a few people who are running. I get the feeling the majority of this country is not really paying attention to the midterms, not as much as they should be. Here in California, it's absolutely crazy. If you stop somebody on the street and asking them who's running for governor, I don't think half of them could tell you. Who's going against Gavin Newsom. And yet everybody is up in arms against Gavin Newsom, but there's nothing of any substance brought to the table. Mm-hmm. I went to the opening, the launch party for Steve Hilton here in Huntington Beach when he did that. And I thought maybe he could grab some traction, but he hasn't done anything to get, to get recognition enough. I mean, let's face it, Newsom is Nancy Pelosi's nephew. I mean, he's got a very hard and protective shell around him. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. And midterms, there's so much going on across this country. Do you think Republicans have had enough and want to come out and change things enough? Or do you think they're going to they're going to do the favorite answer, but the one I hate the most, let's wait and see?
I think they're not going to change a thing. And let me tell you something. Okay, now in every state in the union, you have your head of the Republican Party in that particular state. You also have your head of the Democrat Party of the United States in each of the states, okay? Here, I think they're the ones who actually control everything, and let me tell you why. Okay, so there was just so the guy who was actually head of the Alabama Republican Party has decided he wants to run for U.S. Senate. That left his vacancy open. In my opinion, that should have been a special election for the state of Alabama. The citizens should have chosen who they would like to have as their head of the GOP, Alabama State GOP. But there's a committee of people who do that. And so these are people that are selected throughout the state. And so these people choose who the head of your state GOP is going to be. And again, it's not just Alabama, it's in all 50 states. To me, you're giving all of that. These people are the ones who are going to choose your Senate. They're going to be the ones who choose everything, okay? Because they're the head of now there's been some good ones. There's been some that I've they're the head of the GOP. Are you serious? They seem like a little bit more like a Democrat to me. But anyway, I think we need to give the people back full vote. I don't think there needs to be special committee elections.
Right. Well, the whole idea first, we got to start with the voting number one. I mean, how do we let people know that their vote really does count? I think there's been so much damage to voter integrity. And I don't think with the amount of elections that are coming up and we'll be living through in this particular cycle, that we did a good enough job in letting America know that we're on this, we got this. I mean, it just doesn't. And I don't know that unless you bring some sort of shock value, you're not going to get this country's attention. So do I think that half of this country is not going to turn out for this vote and think somebody else is going to do it like they always have? Yeah, that's a generation of what we're raising, just what we were talking about. Somebody else will handle it. Mom or dad will handle it. Somebody will step up. Somebody will handle it. It'll get done. No, not me, not me. And that's exactly what we're seeing. So we're going to even see more of that. There is, you know, I think the one thing Obama did perfectly was he left this country perfectly divided.
He did that.
That's what I think he did perfectly.
He did a good job there.
He did, didn't he? So we find ourselves here today, and it's not just our kids anymore. This is a few generations. This is now an opposing voice. As stupid as it may sound and some of the ridiculous things, but it's just not bouncing back as much as I thought it would. I'm hoping that as we move into the 250th anniversary of this country, that we can start, you know, reigniting that and at least have an American value system that a generation can at least be aware of. I mean, because it's not taught in school. That's the problem. This is 2 generations going on 3 that have gone through their schooling with 1 year of American history, and that in 11th grade, and that's it. There's no 4 years of history anymore. So they just don't know. They've only been schooled on 1/2 of this country's history, and that's not enough. But it is enough to tip the scales to keep going in the direction that we shouldn't be going in. You know what I'm saying? It's enough of a resistance. It's created because it's gone through a few generations now. It's not just our kids saying this. It's like, oh no, my grandkids too. You know, and that's where we find ourselves today. So the elections, you know, I think people are just tired of hearing the same rhetoric as far as what you're going to do and change things, because none of you are changing anything. I just had a candidate on, and he was part of the Lake and Riley bill. And, you know, I just tried to find, like, where is he stepping out, you know, amongst the other candidates. That's what I was trying to find out, you know. And somehow I'm looking at these people, and I'm looking, and I hear what they're saying, but I really hear what they're saying.
Well, let me ask you about this, because, okay, so a friend of mine, Don Brown, he's an attorney out of Charlotte, North Carolina, running for U.S. Senate. And so their election was last week, and he didn't win. And this was the guy that should have done, this guy should have been the one. Okay, he's an attorney for a bunch of the Gen Sixers. I mean, this guy is the fair tax thing. I mean,
who do you run against? What was their platform?
Well, his platform, that's not what it was. It was the amount of people who went out and voted. You're going to fall over when I tell you. Okay. North Carolina is a pretty darn big state.
Yes.
15 to 18% of registered voters voted in the state of North Carolina.
Under 20%?
Worse than that in Alabama. In Alabama, the last midterm election, I think it was 9% of people voted. And then people wonder, why are we where we're at? I think it's 2 things. I think, first of all, people don't get off their rears and vote. And then I think another one is the committee selects a lot of the people who are actually up for voting.
Right.
That's it.
But until this country does something, we're not going to change that thought process. You know, we're just not. I don't understand why people don't realize that is those local people that start. See, the whole idea is for them to go toward Washington in order to take we the people's voice and carry it forward. But if you've got people at that level, I told you, and I've said this for many years on my show, Donna, this country was destroyed at the mayoral level. And they did that during the fires and all of that because that gave them a thermostat on how much. Remember, they closed and left police stations. Closed and left them. They turned the other city over to the summer of love. No. And at the mayoral level, and you can just see it throughout this country because people at the mayoral level, while everybody was rah-rah, siskum bomb for the other side, and, men to wear skirts in bathrooms and transgender and binary and everything, and the whole alphabet gang, that whole thing, what it did is it changed your thought process. All right. So now we're looking at they were raised with this. I mean, this is kind of crazy. This isn't just something where they've grown up and took a side on something. Mm-hmm. These are generations now that have known this their whole lives. Then their schooling, did its job and its number. And now they're all growing up and they're going out there into the world. But the problem being is that our government itself stifled itself. They all sat in those seats when they should have went home 40 years ago, half of them. Mm-hmm. All right. You're not telling me you're competent and 84 years old, still sitting in that seat, knowing what the hell's going on in this country. Mm-hmm. Right. So, you know what I'm saying? So we didn't do it there. And then what we started doing is we started bringing people in at the mayoral level who were cousins and uncles and friends, and whether they earn that job or not, they were all put into positions. And we saw that because as disasters hit out this country, it is very clear how unprepared we are at that level, bottom line, throughout this country, not just in one spot, all over. Mm-hmm. And therefore, what we're not realizing is those lazy minds and lazy peoples that we're electing and letting them slide into those seats are now taking that to the next level and connecting with other voices and getting strong. And that's where we find ourselves today. Nobody believes anything anymore, Donna.
Yeah, but leaders are not leaders. Leaders now, by today's standards, are followers. Somebody else is telling them what to do once they get into office. Let's go into a commercial break, and we're going to be right back in just a few minutes. More good stuff with Victoria always. Queen City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Lowe's knows that the projects you build in spring are the ones you can't wait to share. It's why we make sure you have our best deals with My Lowe's Rewards and that you get help from people who've
been there,
done that.
Try this.
This spring, we'll help you build something rewarding.
Hey, Stan. What's up? I made you something. Oh, thank you. I got something for you. You grew these? Of course.
Lowe's knows how to help you spring.
Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Television, Radio, and Podcast Talk Show. Victoria Lee Scott is with me right now. We went a little bit past the break, so we're probably going to have about 11 minutes left in this segment. We're on a really hot topic, and it's, how did we get here? Well, it's pretty simple. We let the gap down is basically what happened.
Yes.
When people rule us who know nothing about us, they're only looking for their self-interest, and I'm sorry, but it's on both sides.
I happen to agree with you. This is, and that's what's really interesting and why I can honestly, remember I told you that little bit of exhale that I get. Because what I've realized is even with the collaboration that I've done in the Newscasters Studio, I can start really seeing now that these are voices that really deserve. Just because NBC, ABC, or CNN have the money to put you on for 2 minutes, that shouldn't be, we've put our time, effort, and energy into building what we built, which is now in advertising a $37 billion industry, and it's grown by 32% since January. Mm-hmm. So we are what it is. And it's just time that people, if we go back to what we started our discussion with, we've got to start with the self first, and exactly, because you know what? There is no better nourishment for the spirit than putting your hands in the soil. And you know exactly what I'm talking. When you grow something and something blooms and something, there is no better spiritual nourishment. There is a connection.
You're right.
And you know what I'm talking about. And people, they're not getting that, Donna. So it's not hard for me to take a look and see. And my job is to just keep reflecting back when people say, how do you do it? How do you do it? How we share to them exactly how we do it, Donna. And that's all we're asked to do. We just share our strength, our hope, and our experiences. Mm-hmm. But you have to come to a point where you trust yourself. So many people are looking everywhere, listening to everything, and yet really not learning anything. Because when they'll say to me, oh, you got to listen to this woman or this guy. And I'm like, well, where do they stand on this and that? Yeah. Well, they're just good. You should listen to them. And I'm like, well, maybe they might be good for you. but you know what I'm saying? We need to stop a little bit. Mm-hmm. And to answer to ourselves first. And then when we do that, the questions of the world don't seem so stressful or do not fill us with anxiety because it'll be taken care of. And that's one of the biggest issues I'm finding now is even yesterday in talking with my daughter, to just even talk to that generation and give them a different viewpoint. I've come to realize that the generation, they're living behind defense mechanisms. because, you know, what a lot of them, not necessarily this younger generation, but the one right before that, the ones we remember, every kid got a trophy, everybody did. And
I remember that.
But in the real world, those are now our grown-ups. And the problem is they're giving up because they don't have the proper tools in order to the coping mechanisms or the tools that they need to function whatever their world asks of them. And that's what we're finding. You know, we're finding that, you know, that if you didn't go back and if you didn't have those scraped knees, Donna, just what we were talking about. It's those scraped knees that give us that resilience, that character, that get up and, you know, let's figure this out kind of thing. And we've taken that away from not one, but just about 2 generations. You know, you hurt my feelings. Yeah, maybe your feelings need to be hurt right now because your ears are clogged.
Maybe so. You know, there was a movie out, and I loved this movie. Rene Russo was in there, and Mel Gibson was in it. And I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, they've been beat to death. They worked for, you know, like as in the government some way, and the past experience, they'd been shot at, they'd been knifed, they'd been all this kind of stuff. Well, I won't give you you know, because it might turn X-rated to tell you everything they did, but anyway, they were showing each other scars. You know, she said, "Oh, and I got this one from when I went and I shut down whatever crazy." And then he was going, "Yeah, and this is what I've got." Well, Phil and I like to say that we're those two without having all those scars, because the scars are kind of cool. Because I can definitely remember. I've got a cut right here. Right here, there's a scar on my arm, and then every time I look at it, it reminds me I did something I shouldn't have done. So, you know, Tornado Alley in Alabama, I grew up. And so I was standing in front of a window, and I had this new little camera, nothing like what we've got now. Back then, you had to go take everything and get, you know. So I wanted to take pictures of the tornado as it was heading, like coming towards the house. So I knew better. I knew not to get in front of a window. I got in front of the window, and I was taking pictures. Guess what? A tree limb fell through. I got glass all over myself. And it's a wonder it didn't cut me into smithereens. I was quick enough to do like this so it didn't get on my face, but it got on my arms and on my hands. I've got those crazy things on. It reminds me, I mean, if a tornado's coming up, I'll go. I still do it. I was 15 when that happened, and I'm 66 now. I still do this. When I see a tornado coming, I look at that scar, and it's like, ooh, I'm not going to get in front of the window. I learned from it. I mean, it was like a movie. It was like this tree, you know, come at me like that. But sometimes we have to go through these weird stuff so that because I'm hard-headed, I have to have a house fall on me. I'm one of those. So the thing about that is if you'll just pay attention, let the house kind of fall on you just a little bit.
Right.
Next time around, you'll know what not to do. Well,
exactly.
We've raised generations of kids, and it's our fault. We've raised generations of these kids where the house doesn't fall on them, and they don't know what's coming next.
And they can't grow anything. They can't grow anything.
It's not fair. It's not fair. So people talk about, oh, but I want to take care of the kids who don't know what sex they are. Let's let them get mutilated so they can be their self. Well, how many of those kids have committed suicide because it wasn't what they thought it was going to be? You know, the liars will tell these kids, well, I know you were born as a boy and you want to be a girl. You're going to have all these sexual things that are going to, it's not happening. Basically, they're like eunuchs walking around.
100%. No, I'm not for it at all. I think it's wrong to take our children in that direction. I really do. And I think the younger, the transgender and the kindergartens, absolutely not. Whatever you want to do when you're over 21, as far as I remember telling my daughter, as far as anything goes with drinking or smoking, I own you until you're 21. I own you. When you're 21, but until then, I own you.
and we need to take it even a step further because, like, I couldn't wait to get out of the house. I mean, I was like, graduation day from high school, I'm out of here. You know, well, we're not, kids are not like that anymore. I mean, they will live until they're 40 years old in their mother's basement.
100%. They're not going anywhere.
but you have to grow. And so I remember when Brad, he was like me, he wanted to get out and go to college and all this kind of stuff. So I didn't fight with him about it. I didn't say, son, you be my baby forever and I want you to stay. I didn't fight that because I might not be the best thing for him. He needs to get out and he needs to grow within reason. I don't want him shot at or anything like that. Although he went to, one of the boys told me that all the college boys always coming back to our house. They'd come for the weekend. I'd feed them. And you know how that goes with a bunch of college boys. They eat all the time. Right. So one of them let it out. What happened is they all went somewhere one night. And Brad and a couple guys, they'll just pile into one car. You know how they are. And so one of them stopped to get fuel or something. And then this strange person got in the car. It was right by Brad, my son. Well, you know me, I started freaking. And I said, what do you, somebody got? And Brad said, well, Mom, it was no big deal. And then one of the guys said, well, Brad, it kind of was because the guy acted like he was on drugs. I mean, he acted like he was on planet Earth. and so I went nuts about that. So to all of them, I set them all down and I said, guys, don't leave car doors open. Lock them. And there are some safety things you have to do. But what I'm saying is when it comes to the basics of I fell down and I skinned my knee, get back up again.
That's it. You got to. No matter what it is. Sometimes we have to go along a path to pick up certain things and learn certain things in order that we can continue on to whatever it is we think we need. So, it's not easy. But again, it goes back to that self. The courage and everything, you've got to find that within yourself. And then, it's one step at a time. There's no giant leap from here to there. The only giant leap is when you go down for some reason, never when you go up. Tiny baby steps going up, but somehow those leaps, whenever down comes, it goes. So, I truly believe to take care of the mind, the body, and the spirit is the best way to do it. Keep working, keep doing what I'm doing. And keep showing up for life.
No, I love you.
I have a wonderful opportunity to talk to so many people during my day in my hair salon. And I hope that I am a good inspiration into leading them and helping them on things. But it's crazy to watch my clients go from 90 years old to 4 and 5 years old, so it's a nice fluctuation of the different kind of people I get to talk to. But I do find that I am seeing more depression than I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a whole nother show. But I can honestly, I know my clients, I've owned my hair salon for 30 years. When I see a certain something, you can see in a client, you can see it. I mean, you just can. So it's important that I try to stay connected in some way, and how happy I am that they're there and taking care of themselves. And then my job is to just make them look really good.
Girl, we're going to have to call it a day. How can folks get in contact with you? They've got a voice and they want to be heard. You're the one.
Absolutely. The Newscasters Studio does have a studio for you. You can reach me at Victoria@thenewscasters.com. Go into the Newscasters.com and check out all the different. We have now, Donna, we have 5 sports channels, 2 cooking channels. We have studios coming on. Rick Amato from One America News is actually going to host some award show here in California. But I'm getting people from all over with different things. We've got a young person with a gaming channel. And there's just a lot of stuff going on the Newscasters where, it's time for all of us to just say, hey, I have a voice. I have something I want to do. And that's what we're here to do. So the Newscasters.com, and you can reach me at Victoria@thenewscasters.com. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, like everybody else.
Absolutely.
We have a footprint.
Thank you so much. I adore our friendship, and I'm always so happy to have you on the show. And guys, thank you so much for watching. Continue sending email. Victoria can tell you I get a kick out of it. I love hearing from you. Donna@donnasedge.com. Donna@donnasedge.com. Again, thank you so much for watching. You take care.